this is Baby from CSE department. So, I used to take programming languages and I have not used any of them. Good morning, one and all. This is Vasundhara from CSE department. Right now I am teaching CM data structures. We never implemented any activity based till now. Good morning, all. I am Yami from CSE department. Never used any techniques.
So, you guys want to move in front?
Activity-based learning, etc. But I think okay, a major project. Generally, 3-4 people are one group, and so that way I can say we have some group-based learning in the process. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Okay, you have to go sit in the inner circle there.
Good morning, I'm Kiranmai. I'm handling database management systems. I give an activity for a group, design some problem for it so that they can get into the concept. Probably we didn't coin it as a POGIL or lab protocol. That's how the methodology wherein they can solve it on their own.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Yeah? Okay.
Good morning to one and all. I am Mangathayaru from IT department and I teach software engineering where I use an activity called as role play. For example, for myths, we asked, we have divided in 2 groups. One has to speak regarding the myth, the other has to speak about the reality. Likewise, and the quiz also I used to follow. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, I am Krishnasri from EC department. Just I'll give small topics as seminars to the students. In that way, the activity of the students will be enhanced in the class. Thank you. Good morning, this is Dharmataji from ECE department. Right now I am teaching basic electronics and I have not used any techniques till now. Thank you. I am Shubha from civil department. I used to group them into different groups and I used to make them in different groups and I used to ask them to speak regarding whatever they know, regarding small topics maybe, but what they know, I used to make them speak, and I used to use brainstorming sessions.
I'm Aita Ramesh Kumar from Department of ECE. I'm teaching VLSI design specialization subjects. So still now I'm not using any special techniques.
Good morning to one and all. This is Vijay Kumar Gurrala, belongs to ECE department. Till now I haven't used any technique.
Good morning. I am Suresh from Civil Engineering department. Till now I have not used any techniques in the class. Thank you.
Good morning, this is Mahesh from Automobile Engineering department. Till now I used only an experiential learning techniques, and that is the only thing I have used. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning, all of you. I am Revati, Assistant Professor, IT Department. Till now, I have never used any technique, ma'am.
Good morning to all. I am Chandrika from IT department. Till now, I didn't use any of the techniques.
Good morning, Ananda. I am Ravi from IT department. I use the technique called problem solving, and I teach computer forensics. I used to use some real-time problems, and I used to ask them to solve the problems. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. I am G. Nagaraju from CSE department, and till now I haven't used any activity technique.
Good morning, one and all. This is Pawan, teaching physics, and I am from H&S department. Until now, I have not used any technique. Thank you.
Good morning, I am Pratibha from the Department of Humanities and Sciences. Even I do use active learning techniques in my labs and classes, such as role plays, group discussions, peer review, and others. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. This is Kanchana from Department of Humanities and Sciences. We also I teach English and we use active-based learning activities in our lab as well as classrooms.
Good morning, everybody. I am K. Padmaja from H&S department, chemistry. Under the guidance of Josna Madam, we have implemented POGIL in both theory and lab. And apart from that, we also make use of video presentations and PPTs in the class.
This is Madhavi from H&S department. So all chemistry department implemented POGIL in theory as well as lab, and also apart from that some video clippings related to the topic also presented in the class.
Good morning, Ananda.
Namaskara. I am Padmavati from HMS department, and under the guidance of Jasmine Madam, we have well trained in POGIL, and we have implemented both in theory and the lab already.
So maybe you should be conducting this workshop, not us, right? All well trained.
Good morning. This is Venu from Triple department. I taught power systems, electrical machines and control systems and various labs related to that. I had field experience. I used to teach the theory with field experience examples. And when I am teaching control systems, general examples also I give. Example, a system is there when it is, when we want to get the transient response of that system. So similarly, human being is also subjected to some emotions. When he is subjected to some emotions, it leads to some transience. In the transient period, we have to keep quiet. Similarly, system has to keep quiet sometime. After that, it will settle to a steady state point. Like that, I will give them live examples as well as practical examples. When I am teaching power systems, we have developed the power system model, patch controllers model, working examples in the laboratory. So we used to demonstrate the transmission line example and the generator model and load. So some kind of that practical. Similarly, we use some lab related activity protocols. In machines, we used to explain DC machines, AC machines and transformers and applications, various applications in the field. We used to give the video presentation, hydro generation,
A very good morning, everyone. I am Sandhya from HMS department. I teach English, and all my labs and class sessions are very interactive. Starts with questionnaire, role plays, group discussions, and debates. Thank you. I am Manjula Sri from Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. I use interactive teaching techniques. I divide the students into groups during tutorial hours and give them individual assignments. And after solution, I ask them to represent the same to the entire class. And even in the lab sessions also, we give individual exercises and solve.
Good morning, one and all. I am Padma Sai, Professor and Head ECE Department. Actually, I attended POGIL workshop at VNRVJIET organized by Sanjay ma'am. But as if actually we didn't implement POGIL in class. But in our class, we used to give small problems to the students. They have to teach in the class. And we are in lab also. We are dividing the students into different groups. They have to do mini projects. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning. I am Kovind Ram from Automobile Department. So far we limited only to lab protocols. Such.
Down here, there's some few people over here. Let me pass the mic so we and you all have a little questionnaire in front of you. Those of you that have, done this intro, just take a few moments to complete that.
Good morning, everybody. I am Padmini, Vigyan Jyoti Institute of Management. I teach business English and soft skills. I have been for over 30 years in the field of teaching. This is my 31st year. Thank you.
And Padmini has used lots of active learning techniques.
Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Manchala, Professor in HR from Vigyan Jyoti Institute of Management. My interests are actually organizational behavior and HRM. I have been teaching for past 28 years. Thank you.
Good morning, all of you. I am Martina, Associate Professor in Finance from Vigyan Jyoti Institute of Management. I have teaching experience of more than 20 years. Thank you.
Question is, does it use any active learning techniques or not? You are supposed to comment on that. Okay. Also. It is a yes or no?
Yes, to some extent.
Good morning. I am Jayashree, Faculty of Marketing from VJN. I have been teaching for the last 20 years, and I use experience-based learning teaching in the class. Thank you.
Thank you. Couple people here.
Yeah. I am Suresh Reddy, Associate Professor and Head in Information Technology. Yeah, I use in labs, particularly like VNR lab protocol and a certification course called as Certificate in Information Technology, where we do have some activities by learning by doing. So we are implementing in I mean to say not in a full-fledged, at least I can say yes, in an average base we are implementing in the practicals, not in the theoretical class. Okay.
Good morning. I am Dr. Ravindra Babu from CSE department. I am here in the profession for the last 32 years. I used to use some technique by name. There is no specific name for that. I used to collect the questions from the students, then myself giving the questions. I used to follow that because for those subjects like software engineering, discrete mathematics, that worked very well. So with that, I used to ask them, this group should give me 2 questions from this topic, this group should give me some 2 questions or 3 questions, like that I used to use. That is the technique that I used to use.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ravindra Babu.
So what? So, Jyotsna, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jyotsna, Associate Professor in Chemistry from Humanities and Sciences Department, and I have been working actively with POGIL. This is all because of Sandhya, I'll say ma'am. Because ma'am, she doesn't want to be called as madam. You won't call me like that because when we went to US, ma'am used to always say, don't call me madam, call me by my first name. But the culture over there is like that, but over here I can't address her like that. So she was the one she was the one who drove us into this particular POGIL and got us actively involved over there. The schedule which was planned in USA was also really wonderful, where we could interact with many number of professors who have already worked in this POGIL more than 15 to 20 years. So this is what I want to say, and as and when this session is going on, I will give you more inputs.
Thank you, Jyotsna.
And we have some more people behind the scenes here.
So good morning all, I am Srinivas Reddy, Associate Professor, Department of CSE. So I am giving assignments to 5 members. Okay, that is my technique on applying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I request all of you to display your badges prominently so I can see your name. Don't worry about it.
Good morning, I am Billy Sunil from Mechanical Engineering Department. I have joined in VNRVJIET in June of last year, and I am looking for implementing some techniques in teaching.
Yeah, good morning, one and all. This is Sundaraya, Assistant Professor in IT Department. Yeah, I used to do in a programming language techniques, giving the real-time examples to know about what's happening in the real-time about the programming language. Thank you.
Does it still work with this now? Working? Perfect. So you all have with you one sheet of paper that says questionnaire. Take 2 minutes and just go through that and fill it up and turn it in to Srinivas Reddy garu. I don't know who's going to be collecting these things. Samsara? Okay, Samsara garu will be collecting.
Okay, so if you're done, Raise your hand. So you have to be watching my hand, and when I raise my hand, you have to raise your hand. Done or not, you have to raise my hand. That means you are observing what is going on in the room. POGIL lesson number 1. Watch your facilitator, and if the person has raised the hand, you raise the hand. Okay, thank you. So, just a test. So, you have to raise your hand. That means you're observing what's going on and you're not in your own little world. That's what it means. It doesn't mean whether you have done or not. That's not the question. So, okay. Now, does anybody need any more time? 1 more minute or you're all done? 1 more minute. Okay, 1 more minute going.
One question. Should we write a name on the sheet?
Yes, please. Do write your name. I'm sorry? You did not write your name. No problem. You can fill up another sheet later. Or you can do it on Moodle later, because we'll figure out how to introduce such a quiz in Moodle, and then you can conduct such kind of things in your classroom as well. Are you two over here? Come quickly. And don't sit at the back. Please come in front. Do you want to come front? Visibility is good there? Okay, you've got a good seat. Awesome. No. Should you just do the real listing అయిపోయింది కదా? ఇది అయిపోయింది. So why don't we just jump straight into the parallelogram activity?
Okay.
You know.
ఒకసారి చెప్తాను మీకు. Penta doodle ఏంటంటే it's a simple activity where
they will fit in this step. Are you going to give them the role play? Manager role avani cheptam. So I want you to facilitate that.
Okay. Immediate గా స్టార్ట్ చేద్దామంటారా? ఇప్పుడు ఆయన స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం.
Should we give the background?
First introduction.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Cool. So, this was what happened when in 2011 Professor Cliff Kussmaul was giving a talk on POGIL, and then we attended that, and go to the next. Just go to the next. Yeah. And then I attended the POGIL workshop. Of course, that's a picture of me sitting in my office. I was not doing it on AVU. I was actually in Chennai attending it. Okay. And then what happened was that I thought he did something similar right there as he was presenting the paper. Most times what happens in a conference when people present papers, people are sitting in the back. Okay, all right. And because they can't sit for that long, because we want to be standing and teaching and doing and so on and so forth. And Cliff managed to get everybody up and moving by just simply doing this, right? So that was, and the more I heard about that, we invited him over here as a keynote speaker when we conducted the T4E conference last summer, and he came, and he also was invited to conduct the POGIL workshops at both VR Siddhartha and VNR Engineering College. I know some of you, like Padmasha, actually attended that workshop,
and they're quite excited by it. And then I happened to go in October last year to meet with Cliff Kussmaul in Philadelphia and also Rick Moog, the head of POGIL. Okay? And then I found out that there was a POGIL facilitator workshop, trainers workshop going on in January in the US, and I asked for 3 spots. I said, block spots for India. They said, now we're in October, this is in January, how can 3 people come? Don't you have to go through visa and this and that, and there are many people standing in the queue, it's not possible, I don't think it'll happen. I said, no, it's going to happen. And we got the invitation letters, 2 people. So Jyotsna was one of them, and Bhanu from VI Siddhartha was another. And the colleges, once they were explained what this was all about, they were very gracious. They said, we will sponsor the individual for the training, and that's what happened. And then myself, Jyotsna, and Vanashri, we attended the POGIL Facilitator Training Workshop at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and also shadowed lots of professors, and also lots of fun time, right? It was Myrtle Beach, beautiful weather, walks on the beach, sunrise, sunset, and whatnot. So exciting time as well. And shadowing professors, because this technique was very interesting, also it's very different than what we normally use in the classroom. We said that just attending a workshop and coming back for 3 days, jet lag and everything, it's not going to be useful at all. So please take at least 2 weeks, and that's what they did. Jyotsna and Banashri were up in the morning at 3 o'clock, getting ready and getting in the car, driving to Philadelphia for an hour and a half, and then meeting with Greg Hislop of Drexel University. Another day going into Chestnut Hill College, meeting with Kelly Butler, and then sitting for 3 hours in her POGIL class lab. And then driving again another day, so this 4 a.m. thing starts, 6 o'clock, they're getting very used to this schedule, right? Really good. And then going and meeting Rick Moog at Franklin Marshall and listening to his way he conducts it. Then back in Muhlenberg, attending Cliff's classrooms, and then in Moravian College, attending professors Matt Lang, Dan Libby. So there's both chemistry and computer science, because Jyotsna is from chemistry and Banashri is from computer science. So what we decided is that when the plan was already that once they attend all these workshops and everything, we come back here and then do a series of workshops sharing, and here, welcome to the POGIL India roadmap. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, know that we are just now starting the whole POGIL India story. Up until now, POGIL was used as a technique for over 20 years in chemistry. Slowly in the recent times, few professors started using it in computer science, and then few others in other things. And there's a set of high school activities in biology, chemistry, and physics. And there's a few people who are engaging in math and so on. And now, here are the different things. Look at the roadmap. It's charted out all the way to summer 2014. Now, are you guys ready? February 16th, intro to POGIL. What's that date today? 16th. And we are here. Okay. So, we are starting over there. That's the POGIL India roadmap. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are part of the POGIL India movement, and you are the people that are going to facilitate how we use this in the classroom. Next, we're going to have more POGIL activities workshop, another one facilitating POGIL in the classroom, and beginning writing POGIL activities. And then using POGIL in the classroom. You all will use POGIL in the classroom. And then we will have a summer POGIL writing workshop where we'll invite Professor Cliff Kussmaul again. He will look at all your activities and see, are you doing really POGIL or POGIL-like activities, and then help you to convert that into real POGIL activities, or also create new ones in your own discipline. Because many of the disciplines, there may not be any POGIL activities, and then guess what? You will be creating those, right? And that's all in this year, and in the intervening period, once you've created all these activities, in the coming year and semesters, you will be using these in your classroom, and potentially those that are really successful will get to, you know, be able to present as papers or whatever in National POGIL in the coming June, right? So we have a clear roadmap. Are you all in sync with this? Any questions? No questions? Wow. This is easy. So this is now broken down into item by item again. So Intro to POGIL workshop happening right here for the faculty of VNRVJIET, and we are Siddhartha Engineering College, Amrita, and NNCD are connected through AView. Now what is AView? How many of you know what is AView? Okay, great. So what is happening is that there is an Amrita virtual interactive world, where e-learning world, and that's AView, that's what it expands to. And this, you see that right there, the screen, where the video is being captured, that is being seen by all these other people who are logged in. So this is a virtual classroom, okay? And also, people in the different locations then have the ability to push hand raise button. That means they're raising the hand, they want to ask a question, and we can see that, and we can help interactively answer the questions. Okay, so we are using AView for this session. So besides you, maybe somebody else may raise their hand and ask a question. Okay? Now, again, we talked about more POGIL activities and facilitating POGIL in the classroom workshop, and Dr. Ravindra Babu here is responsible for the calendar, the training calendar, and then he will work with you as he has this time in assembling all of you here. I'm very happy that this many of you are participating. It's going to be awesome. Great. And then again, so a week later we have beginning writing POGIL activities. So you will understand what it is and then start creating your own. And then using POGIL in the classroom, you'll get familiar with doing that. And of course we talked about the summer writing workshop, and then you will also use these in your classroom. And of course, what happened here? Okay, we recycled. Never mind. And we didn't go to November 1900. So at the end, so we already seen the POGIL roadmap. So you're all ready for your first Intro to POGIL workshop? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. That's better. Now I'm going to ask it like a football coach. Are you really ready? Yes. Okay, let's go. All right. So now.
Do you want me to give that role of teacher once just scroll up, or it's directly going to the intro of POGIL?
You're going to intro of POGIL.
So
you do a role of teacher, but not use all the slides.
No, I just scrolled ahead.
So now we're going to do this, baton exchange between me and Jyotsna, so that she will highlight to you some ideas of what we all consider the role of teacher, right? I'm sure you will all, relate to this. So this is just to get you in sync to get started, right? And then so she's just going to
I'll just brief out related to the role of teacher. I know everybody is aware of this, but if we see more number of pictures, I think something will trigger in our mind. That's the reason why I just put up. There's not much Word documents with this. Some pictures where few pictures might trigger something in your mind.
What shall I do with this? Another operate.
So as a role, the first slide, the role of teacher, I just gave that particular picture because we all will think when we come into this profession, what we can do related to our teaching, right? So this few slides I have collected. So initially what we say, teachers, they are the ones who plant seeds of knowledge. Fast will go. So these are all the things. We are not going to take our students like this. We are going to teach them what all they are supposed to know. That teaching over here is not just dumping knowledge onto them. So we are not going to pour the knowledge like this into their brains, fill it up, as madam has quoted many times, pot with holes, that example. So this is not the way of teaching where we just dump knowledge into the heads of the students and the output is sometimes nil. Next. So if it is just a lecture-based classroom, then the levels of teaching are mostly assumed to be low. Because it is not necessary that every student in a class will be attentive to the class. They might look attentive, physically they might be present, but mentally their minds will be wandering everywhere.
Wow, that is a great lecture.
This is what we feel. Wow, that was a great lecture, and then actually from the student side it is, we are totally confused. So let's not create a room like this. We will try to build up, we will try to enter into the student's mind and try to bring out their inputs which are already there in them. So normally this is the fashion which we follow. A typical student, what they do, they take the notes what we give in the lecture, and we ask them to refer to some books, they open it for the problems, they look for the equations, they turn into problems, try to solve them, but copy mostly from their friends if they have already done it, and then prepare for the test, take the test, and ultimately the result is they forget. I want to just quote one example over here. I don't want to tell the university. It is a very well-known university wherein after graduation, when the students were coming out and they were flying away their degrees and their all that attire what they have during the convocation, they were each student was questioned. They were just given a copper wire, a small battery, and that wire was having a small bulb. So they were given, can you produce light from this? So actually I couldn't get that video. I should have shown you that video. That would be more better rather than me explaining. So each student is, what rubbish are you talking? I am a graduate. What are you asking me? Just with a wire and a battery you want me to light a bulb? So each student, they showed a different way of approach to that particular one. But basically what we feel is that is the basis. Electronic people, if they agree with me, with just connecting that wire to that small battery, the bulb can glow. But how you make the connection, everything, that is also is necessary. So these are the basic elements. So the students are forgetting the basics and they are trying to master in something else. So that we don't want to happen to our students. That's the reason why we are trying to involve all these active learning process, which we are already doing it, but in a different manner. So teaching is not equal to learning. So there is a saying, when you teach, you can learn, but you can't force them to learn. So teaching and learning can involve all these types of aspects, and when I say you're supposed to change, it should not be like a flipped classroom where you just turn it upside down. You're going to just investigate these type of questions, that is ask, investigate, create, discuss and reflect. So once these aspects are taken up by the students, I think they will be working out on a number of problems in a better way. So this is about the flipped classroom itself, where you can use different techniques. You can use videos, you can use media, there are a number of sources on the internet. You can use any particular technique and try to attract your students and not just lecture in a class. So this is what is the present day, which you are supposed to change. A teacher, she can be a supporting person or an empowering person, engaging, caring, sharing, reflecting, nursing, assessing, and there's a small letter over there, resting. We also do that. Don't we agree? Yes?
Resting or resting?
It's resting. Resting. Because sometimes we take our students right. So change from that particular scenario, and a teacher should be a more constructivist, where she tries to get the knowledge from the students, not just dumping the knowledge onto the students. So it's time for a change to a more effective paradigm in college teaching, not like just putting everything on the board and asking them to copy down like this. So what are all your ideas? You can also give it to us later on, like how would you enhance this teaching learning process. But yeah, so create an atmosphere to your students in that manner. Not that you're going to give them an umbrella of some shading. That umbrella should be an umbrella of knowledge, where their flight will be smooth. That's the reason why I introduced. So these are the different questions which will crop in with you, related to what are all the aspects which you are supposed to do related to enhancing of your teaching techniques. So that particular one, there are a few recommendations to that. Anyway, we will not go through in these slides. That recommendations we will reflect in our intro to POGIL.
Thank you, Jyotsna.
So you are teaching.
All right. So are they doing it in groups or individual?
First individual గా చేసి తర్వాత గ్రూప్స్ లాగా ఫాలో అవ్వమని చెప్తాను మేడం.
So then you have to tell them. So why don't you? So now Jyotsna will facilitate what we are going to call the POGIL way. So for POGIL facilitation, what should happen? Start.
Yeah, I'm giving you a small activity over here.
I will give you a small activity over here, but before that, the activity which is given to you, first you will do it individually on your own, and then we are going to group all of you into 4. So wherever you are, please identify your 4 members. I request you, please don't identify your friends. I want you to change your places so that you will face a new person. Because if you identify your friends, you will leave the work on your friends. So I want all of you to be in different groups. Groups should consist of 4 members. So would you please kindly make small groups wherever you are, and see that no 2 persons dealing with the same subject are in a group.
But first, you are doing this work individually, right? And hold on.
Same department.
Okay. Okay. This is very typical of your own classroom. You have not finished giving your instructions, and the people are jumping to follow because they are very eager to start doing. Okay, so here are the complete set of instructions, and when you're told to start, that's when you start. Okay, right? So, Jyotsna, finish your instructions on the roles of the 4 people.
ఇప్పుడు రోల్స్ ఇస్తావా, లేకపోతే ఇప్పుడు జస్ట్ గ్రూప్ లా చేస్తాం? రోల్స్ ఇప్పుడు ఇవ్వండి మేడం, ఇంట్రో ఇచ్చాను.
So,
Yes.
so 4 people who you are not familiar with or in a different department, and then after you do it individually, you do it together.
ఉంచుకొని ఇండివిజువల్ గా చేస్తారు ఫస్ట్.
So work individually first, not in the group. Later, after you are done doing this individually,
Then you go to your group of 4 and you discuss your solutions or your answers and then come to an agreement about what your group is going to say, and when your group is asked to present, then you have to present. Go.
Individually, please. There's a paper at the back. You can use that paper, or you want some white paper, some sort of given you.
టైటిల్ చెప్పండి అదే పెంటాడు ఇండివిజువల్ కంపోజ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఆఫ్ పెంటాడు వైట్ పేపర్స్ పెంటాడు ఫైవ్ సైడ్స్
Don't discuss the screen, you're supposed to do it individually.
Please, Renton. If the papers are not there with you, I am displaying it on the screen also, please, because I'll get the printouts, some more printouts. But as far as they come, the printouts, you can carry on with this. No discussions, please. You are going to do it individually. Only after you finish individually, you'll have a group discussion. Don't ask your friend at all.
దాకా తెప్పించాను మేడం ప్రింట్అవుట్స్ అయినా సరిపోలేదన్న పంపించాను ఆన్సర్ అని దట్స్ ఐ యామ్ డిస్ప్లేయింగ్ ఇట్ ఓవర్ హియర్ ఆల్సో.
So those of you that don't have papers, the activity is displayed on the screen. That means we have more than 50 participants. We have 50 sheets.
If you want to see the back slides also, you can ask me. I'll scroll it down for you. This is the second slide. The first one was related to this. Okay. The second one is this. Next slide.
లేదు అది ప్రింట్అవుట్ తీసుకోవడానికి సాంసూరా వచ్చాక ఇస్తా సాంసూరా వచ్చాక ఇస్తా వీటికి చేయడానికి యాక్టివిటీ ఇండివిజువల్గా చేయడానికి చెక్ వెదర్ దే నీడ్ 1 or 2 minutes for individual completion. Just do a check, time check. I'll tell them or just do the hand raise. Okay, right.
Hello. I should not use audio. You are supposed to, whenever, as soon as I lift my hands, even if you have not completed your activity also.
So do you need?
How many more minutes do you need to finish off individually?
Done.
Done?
Anybody else need a time or we are done? Individually done?
Individually everybody is done?
1 more minute?
Okay.
Okay, 1 more minute. And then go into the groups. Those that have finished, start going
into the groups.
But make sure that you are not sitting with the same colleagues that you worked with.
Those who have finished can now discuss in your groups.
For each activity.
Hello. Yeah, I want 1 second your attention, please. If you have finished individually, you can start discussing in your group. Please wait. You can start discussing in your group. Individually, you have given what a pentadoodle is, right? So you're going to discuss with your group and come down to a common conclusion, which you will write on the paper which I have given you at the back. And after everybody finishes, each group will report out their answers. I'll repeat it once again. You discuss among your group, come to a common conclusion what a pentadoodle is, because this is that activity. You can write it down on the blank piece of paper if you're not able to remember it. And then when each group is asked, you're supposed to report out. Now that sounded like very much like your own classroom, right? You are talking, nobody is listening. All right. Okay, so please quietly discuss in your groups, come to an agreement, and once you are done, raise your hand. Teams, one person can raise your hand once they are done. After the group is done.
బేసికలీ వాళ్ళకి ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసేదానికన్నా ముందు ఈ మెస్లో చేసుకుంటారు. నెక్స్ట్ రోల్స్ ఇచ్చి చేస్తే అది అది పర్లేదు రమ్మ దగ్గర చేయాలి. థ్యాంక్ యూ. దిస్ ఇస్ ఆల్ విత్ యువర్ సపోర్ట్. సో వైడ్ ఇందులో మనకి లాస్ట్ స్లైడ్లో ఆన్సర్ వస్తుంది. కొంచెం మీరు మంచిది. థ్యాంక్స్ మా. టెక్నెస్ చేశారా? వాళ్ళకి ఇవ్వలేదుగా ఈ యాక్టివిటీ ఎవరికి ఎన్ఎన్సిడీలో బట్ ఐ డోంట్ థింక్ ఎనీబడి I don't think anybody is participating in an activity. Right now they're only doing the ABU test and Banu anyway knows the activity, so we don't have to worry. Karthik నెట్ బాగా చెప్పాను. Is it exciting? Did you do the activity? No, you shouldn't. Why? Nothing can come.
1 second please. If you have discussed among your group, these are the 2 questions which you are supposed to come to a conclusion to.
No, you should do the activities. You should go participate. Don't sit here. Nothing. आप ये टेक ओवर कर लो. ये participate करना है. Go. Join one group.
అయిపోయిందా? రాసి పెట్టుకోండి పాయింట్స్. ఎవరో ఒకళ్ళు రిపోర్ట్ మేము మీ గ్రూప్లో ఎవరిని అడిగితే వాళ్ళు రిపోర్ట్ చేయాలి. సో అందుకని రాసి పెట్టుకోండి. ఐ లాస్ట్ యూ టు రిపోర్ట్ అవుట్. అదర్ గ్రూప్స్ విల్ లిసన్. మీరు డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నారు కదా, సో యూ పీపుల్ విల్ నో. ఎనీవన్ కెన్ రిపోర్ట్. లేదా నేను ఇప్పుడు అడుగుతా ఎనీవన్ ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ గ్రూప్. సో మీరు ఎవరైతే రాసుకుంటే లేచి చదవచ్చు. అయిపోయిందా? So be ready. If I ask, anyone from your group is supposed to report. మీ గ్రూప్లో ఎవరో ఒకరు వేసి రిపోర్ట్ చేయాలి నా క్లాస్. గ్రూప్స్ ఈ గ్రూప్ అయినా ఎవరి దగ్గర లేవో వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చేయండి రాసి పెట్టుకోండి రిపోర్ట్ చేయమని మీరు ఎవరో ఒకరు మీ గ్రూప్లో రిపోర్ట్ చేయాలి ఏంటి వాట్ డిడ్ యూ ఫీల్ అబౌట్ దిస్ లైక్ అంటే ఆన్సర్స్ సాంసరా గారు పాలెంలోగ్రామ్ యాక్టివిటీ కూడా ఒకసారి ఎన్నున్నాయి కౌంట్ చేయమన్నా సత్యనారాయణని కౌంట్ చేశాడు ఇక్కడ ఎంతమంది టైగర్ కావాల్సి జిరాక్స్ ఓకే Awesome. Are we ready? Yes. To report out? Yes. That's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to move from group to group and then we will ask you for the response and do the questions and then different groups will get an opportunity to answer. So just do a question this one, you ask which one. So, everybody has finished? Now, so shall we start the report out? And when the reporting out is being done, each group will be asked to report out. The other groups are supposed to listen to them. You are going to discuss among your groups related to their answers. And if your answer is same, related to a particular group, you can say it is the same answer and we can pass on to the different groups. Now, am I clear? Yes. So shall we start? Yes. So which group will start first? So many, madam. Okay, great. All right. This group over here, what is the description, your description of the pentadoodle? The pentadoodle is nothing but
please listen to the answer.
Okay. All need to be now listening to the report out. The work that you have been doing in the group is stopped.
Yeah, pentadoodle is nothing but penta is a 5 and doodle is nothing but line. What we feel is 5 lines which consist of this first figure, pentadoodle, and which consist of 5 lines, and if we observe carefully that, so 5 lines are continuous, means we are drawing without lifting our hand, and one triangle is formed, and the total figure is not closed one, that's open. So we observe that from the figure, and which of the figures are also pentadoodles?
Okay, we asked you one question, you're done answering the questions, yes. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, yeah. So, are there any other points that you got in your pentadoodle?
Well, at least one, only one should be intersected.
Only one intersection point will be there in the pentadoodle. Between any two edges.
Okay. Crossing one line. Okay. So, which of the figures are also pentadoodles?
C.
Okay. So we have to ask a particular group, and the way you're going to do this is the following. You write on the white sheet of paper your answers. So when we ask your group, you just simply raise the sheet. Okay? So we're not going to ask you to verbalize it. You are going to write it on your white sheet of paper behind one of your sheets, whatever the letters A, B, C, D, etc., which are all pentadoodles. And then when we ask you to share, to report out, you just raise the sheet. Okay? Is that process of reporting out clear? Okay, go. Write, record your answers group wise. Just one group answer is sufficient, because as a group you will be just putting up Just the letters that are pentadoodles. Don't need to write any stories. Okay. That group at the very end, Srinivas's group. Yeah. Okay. Report out your answer. Just show the paper which has. Okay. So this is very, very clear, right? I think I'm doing a brilliant job of telling whatever I'm telling, but obviously you as the receivers are in your own world. So this is what we're trying to establish right off the bat with a simple exercise. That's what's happening. All right. What was it that we were supposed to do in report out? What is the process of reporting out, Potanagar? What is the process of reporting out? What is the process? Now I'm asking you what is the process. Now you have to speak. Okay, did I ask you guys? No. Did I ask you guys? No. Who did I ask? And are you allowing him to speak? No. Well, isn't this just like your own little classroom? Yes. With similar size numbers, right? Just about over that edge, difficult to manage, but still you're trying. Okay. Potanagar, what is the process of reporting out that we agreed upon? Okay. Someone else. What is the process that we agreed upon?
We have to just show the paper, write the answer and show the paper.
Okay, you were supposed to record your answer on the paper and show the paper. That is the process that we agreed upon. Did your team do it? Okay, now show the paper. Alright, so read out which letters because I can't see which are pentadoodles. Okay? Please cooperate by listening to everyone's answer. Later, there will be time for discussion. Okay? Alright. A, C, and F. Okay. That team over there. Read out.
C and F are pentadoodles.
C and F are pentadoodles. Okay? Alright. Martina's group there.
Only C.
Paper. Show the paper. Only C is a pentadoodle. Okay? What about this group over here?
It's only C.
Only C is a pentadoodle.
Last is.
Only C is pentadoodle.
Only C is a pentadoodle. Is that something that you came up with yourself? Okay. All right. Other answers? Yes, sir. What is your only C? Only C. Nice big C. Thank you. Only C. Okay. So you saw something right here. What was that? We used a different method now to report out. We got the people to commit their answers so that after somebody says, okay, and they start changing, and then you do, okay, you start changing, okay, somebody else answers, you start again changing, right? You're supposed to record, turn the paper upside down, put a weight on that so that you know you're not touching it afterwards. So that is a technique for reporting out, right? Now, another technique for reporting out we will use right now. for the next question, which is, these are not pentadoodles. Come to a consensus in your group of a revised description of pentadoodle. So, who wants to give a revised description of a pentadoodle? This group out there. Tell your name and then your description.
Pentadoodle will have 5 lines. Only one intersection. It should not be the question being A is not pentadoodle, but B is minor.
So A is not a pentadoodle, B is a pentadoodle. So did your group change the description of a pentadoodle?
Yes.
You did not. How many groups changed the description of a pentadoodle after going through the rest? Great, thank you. Why did your group change the description of the pentadoodle?
First time when we did, we have individually done, and then in group we compared our answers, and then we discussed. And finally we arrived at a consensus. Majority of our members felt that this is the correct.
So you took the majority vote?
No, not exactly. Informed.
We should be convinced also, the minority should be convinced of the majority's opinion.
So you came up with some logical
And then, you know.
Okay, others?
Yes, any other group for change?
So 2 times you have changed.
You can tell me why you have changed?
Yes, madam. We have changed the definition. Initially, we have written as pentadoodle means having only 5 lines and having 1 cross line. But later on, we changed that it should form a triangle also. After that, we have again changed after the second point, seeing the not pentadoodles, that it should not have a crossed curve also. So these 2 changes we have made for definition.
Okay, so does anyone have a definition of a pentadoodle which is a well-constructed English description of the pentadoodle? If you're ready, just raise your hand. Okay, so you want to report out?
A shape drawn by drawing, 5 lines continuously, where a triangle is formed and 1 line is crossed the other. Only 1 line is crossed the other. Only 1 intersection you can see.
Okay, okay.
And there are no curves formed.
Okay, great, thank you. Martina? Pass it over there. Okay, this, okay. Pass it.
Pentadoodle has 5 sides drawn without lifting hand, having 1 triangle, and the 2 ends never connect, with 1 intersection, and all the lines, all the strokes are the straight lines, no curves.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do we have one more? Kalpana? Yeah.
Pentadoodle is a pattern which consists of 5 lines and a triangle.
When someone is reporting out, what do you do? How sweet. Are we listening? No, we are not. Look at the people over there at the back. Of course they're not listening. All right. Go, Kalpana.
A pentadoodle is a pattern which consists of 5 lines and a triangle drawn without lifting the hand, and 1 line intersects 1 other line.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a big hand. Now you all participated in some activity. Okay? Now, let us look at what is the author's criteria for the pentadoodle. 5 straight line segments, continuous, able to be drawn without lifting a pencil or retracing, cannot end where it starts, exactly 2 line segments must cross. Okay? So, Awesome. You guys got those, right? Cannot end where it starts. When you're talking about a description which is a complete description, you need to get these kinds of ideas. Now, what if these criteria had been presented at the beginning of the exercise? How would that have affected your learning about pentadoodles? That is the question. Now, Padmini?
We wouldn't have spent time trying to find out what exactly goes into a pentadoodle. The critical thinking skills wouldn't have been really stimulated.
There you go.
Another thing is, you have remembered it so well. Yeah.
So you explored this whole thing and understood and came up with your own idea of what it is, and you formed the definition, and that definition will stay with you, right? This is a key part of the learning cycle, right? You allow the exploration to take place. Are we doing that in our classrooms? Dump, 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 faster, 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 dump, 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 faster, 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 dump, dump, dump. Because, of course, I understand the other constraints. Did you cover the syllabus? Did you cover the syllabus? Did you cover the syllabus? No. Did you cover the syllabus? Yes, so you so beautifully cover the syllabus that your student will never uncover anything. Right? That's what happens. But you did your job. You covered the syllabus. Is that what it is? So we need to explore what is our role as a teacher. Right? And here we saw some element of learning. Now, are you ready? Okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for a lovely participation. So did you feel like students? Yes. Or did we feel like students? Yes. So now to bring you away from this maximum amount of critical thinking what you have done, I'll show you a small video. Please watch the video carefully. And there also you will have certain questions. Now why I am doing this particular thing is because we have three types of learners in our class. That is audio learners, video learners and kinesthetic learners, which we have also gone through in the art of teaching workshop.
So some of you have gone through the art of teaching. Some of the others who may be thinking this is all new, don't worry. You will join the next art of teaching class and you will learn all about that. So some of you may be in the POGO, intro to POGO. So if you take all of these different little programs that are being offered, your base as a person who knows about learning pedagogies will rise and you will be able to do more based on your knowledge. Okay?
So please watch the video.
Because there will be questions. Sound better. You are playing it?
Shall I stop this?
Okay.
Audio is not coming. Go ahead and play.
I'll stop this, you play the
Okay, was that fun? Oh, you learned something. What did you learn, Suresh?
It's like where basically in the starting where the bullock something was pushing on. Related questions proper and was not able to move properly. The monkey got the idea that through banana you can use that grease as a grease. The banana lubrication, it can work as a lubrication. So it went on well. Similarly case with the tunnel and as well as the wind tunnel and the other tunnel.
So you see some questions here. So give the reasons for the creaky noise produced by the push cart. Right. Why did the sound reduce after applying banana peel? Suggest a technical name for the substance applied. Lubricant. Why the same material could not be used in all the cases? Okay, you're supposed to raise your hand and then we invite you to speak and you report out. Right? Okay.
The lubricants need not be the same for everything.
And why is that?
Based on the place where you are going to apply it has to be changed. The lubrications can't be the same for all the, I really don't know the materials, whatever. You can't apply them, it's okay.
So all applications may not take the same lubricant. What are the different types of lubricants used? Okay, wait. Somebody raised the hand over there. Is that a chemistry teacher? Sit down. Okay, somebody else who's a non-chemistry teacher is invited to speak. What are the different types of lubricants used? Oil.
Sticky,
starch. Okay. Others? So you watched this, you had fun, but did you observe all of the items? See how many questions you get right. What are the criteria for selection of a lubricant?
The effort the machine has to put in.
The effort the machine has to put in. Yes.
Depends upon the size of the equipment, whatever we are using, we have to apply, and the weight oils we have to apply, we have to just drop out and we have to do it.
And the problem that the machine or the equipment has.
So now look at all you people from English and everywhere else, all excited about this wonderful topic called lubricants. Now, who would have imagined that a topic in chemistry called lubricants could be even interesting remotely to someone other than a person who is dipping in chemistry? Right? So this is how, right?
So we have here is the concept introduction.
Yeah. So again, what happened here? You were exploring the ideas and you came up with the concept of lubrication even before the term of lubricant was introduced. And that is how the learning cycle takes place. One more time we saw the example. Okay? Okay. So, what are the inputs to these? So there is one component which is the process orientation, right? There what is happening is the cooperative learning, okay? So that's the idea. And there is a conscious commitment to development of certain process skills. Now, why are process skills important? Do we care about them? Does a student need to have process skills? Yes?
Yes.
Do you relate to some of these process skills here? Information processing, critical thinking, etc., right? Communication, problem solving, teamwork, and so on. Management, assessment, these are all process skills. And in the real life, they're all very important. You all need to use these skills in your own life, right? Do you agree? Okay. So that is one component. The other component is guided inquiry. So there is this concept of constructivism, right? So you are going through what is known as the learning cycle activities. So by having some activities, some model, you're going through what we call the learning cycle. We shall see what they are. This is the cycle. There is first the exploration, then comes the concept invention, and then comes the application. So in some of the examples that we just went through, we did that, right? We talked about the pentadoodle, and we were doing the exploration. We came up with what does a pentadoodle mean before we said this was the pentadoodle. So then we just gave a name to it. That is the concept invention. And then the application thereof in multiple ways, drawing many other things and so on. We saw a similar thing going on in the video that we watched about the lubricants, right? We saw there was a need for this, and then something was happening, and you understood what that concept was before we gave a name to it. And that process is what we are calling the learning cycle, and the guided inquiry method that is used in POGIL has to make sure, if it's a real POGIL activity, then it has both these components. There is a process orientation which helps in development of the process skills. There is a guided inquiry portion which helps the learning cycle activities. So that's what it is. So in guided inquiry, it's interesting. I know many of the people shared that they give activity to a group. We did that earlier on, right? What happened? Was there a little bit of chaos?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Typically is, because somebody in the group wants to do it faster than the others and tells them, okay, this is the answer, now just listen to me, I know better. Or someone else will say, I want to speak, or somebody is giving the answer and the group wants to discuss and find out what's going on, etc., etc. So all these things go on. Here also student work in groups, but there is a method to the madness. It's done in a structured fashion where students work on constructing knowledge. Activities use the learning cycle paradigm. So if it's a good POGIL activity, it goes through the learning cycle. Then students teach, discuss, and learn through this whole process from other students, the peer learning, right? And what role does the instructor have? They are simply a facilitator. They are not lecturing at all. So this is what is POGIL. Does it make sense? Okay. So there are two components, and this is what we will see: the process orientation and the guided inquiry learning. Now, this is what Jyotsna likes to think as the facts of present education. I study, I take the test, I pass it, and I forget what I learned. Because I've got another test to do tomorrow, and I've got to mug up for that one, and then I have to write that one. So I can't be bothered about what I did 3 days ago. It's too old. It's gone. Right? So why POGIL? Here's the reasons why. It's a student-centered or learner-centered instructional approach, the focus is on core concepts. Okay? The core concepts are critical, and it really encourages a deep understanding of the concept. And it helps in developing process skills, and this is really required for students to be able to survive in the real world, to be competitive in the real world. Okay? So this is very critical. They need to have problem solving skills, they need to be able to communicate well, they need to be able to have teamwork, etc., etc. And more importantly, the retention of this concept or the knowledge that they have learned through this method is much, much higher. Which is really what is important, right? You need to remember your concepts so that your basics are strong, and later if you are asked to do something, you can build upon these basics and create new knowledge. That's what's needed. But if you are simply remembering something and then you are regurgitating that in the examination and then forgetting about it and moving on, where are you building knowledge? So that's a question we have to ask ourselves as teachers. So again, are we going away from the teacher-centric mode to the student-centric mode, where as a teacher, if we are lecturing, the students are more passive, whereas in the student-centric mode, they're more active, but not just active by making noise or just doing something, but actively constructing knowledge. That's a critical test for is it a good POGIL activity. Okay? Gather and evaluate information, explore, discover unique solutions. This is a very critical component. And what does the professor get to do? Right? So in the teacher setting, he is the content expert, he is directly giving all the information, disseminating, right? And he has a source of all the answers. Somebody asks a question, immediately give the answer. So I just note down the answer, when I'm asked the question, I reproduce the answer, I'm done. Whereas here, they are a guide in the learning process. So we have to unlearn some things. The tendency we have to immediately give the answer when a student asks the question. Right? A student asks a question, you know the answer, so you want to immediately give it to him. But is that going to help the student to learn, construct knowledge? What do you think? Yes or no? No. Don't say no because you think that's the right answer. Do you believe it? That's the question. So if you do, then are you willing to make that change in yourself to help the student to learn? Are you willing to restrain yourself from giving the answer and says, okay, what do you think? Alright, and giving a small hint so that they can go in the discovery path rather than just giving the answer. Absolutely, absolutely. So can we create that?
We all have it in our minds that, if we don't give the answer, the student may not respect us. He may think that, oh, the teacher doesn't know, that's why she's asking me to refer a dictionary or something like that. Unconsciously, we have this mindset, and that is why, we feel like...
Thank you, Padmini, for that, because how many of us think that, that's what we should do because the students may get the wrong idea about us? Just a show of hands.
Generally it is.
Okay.
Very few of us have the guts to say, it is your duty to find out the answer, go and check.
Okay. So I'm glad that this point came up because this is a very, very important and crucial point. Do we know that we know so that we can be a guide and the facilitator for student learning. Of course, you are not going to follow the expected route of doing what they expect the teacher to do, which is give away the answer, lecture. Next thing you know, the students will say, this teacher is not teaching at all, right? Are you ready to face that? Because in the interim, you may get that. But once the student knows that they are learning this way, then all that will disappear. And one needs to be able to have, as Padmini says, the guts and the strength to be able to say, this is how we will do it. The good news is that with POGIL, the structured activities, it's all very similar to what you might have used before. However, the first differences come out clearly when we say that students have assigned roles within their groups, okay? And the dominant mode of instruction is not lecture, okay? And the teacher serves as a facilitator. So these are the key components of what defines a POGIL classroom. Now that is a POGIL classroom. So you see that you're literally having the people sit in groups of 4 and they are working on their handouts, just as you will work now, okay? And you recognize this model, right? So here I want Jyotsna to take over and talk about what are the students' roles.
Thank you, ma'am. So this is regarding the student's role. Since I have told you in the starting also related to the activity that you are going to sit in a group of 4. That's the reason why I made you a group of 4. The student roles over here are 4 categories. That is, we can go above 4, but these 4 are the main categories in a group. The first one will be the manager. The next one will be the recorder. The next one will be the presenter or the spokesperson. And the next one will be the strategy analyst or reflector. These are the roles which are assigned to the students, and as and when you're doing these POGIL activities in the classroom, you can rotate those roles in the groups. That is, depending upon how frequently you're doing the activities in the class. If today one student is the manager, the next one whose birthday comes in the next consecutive months, that person can again become the manager, and then the roles might rotate in the groups. So that each student in the group will get a chance to play all the roles. These roles will also be very helpful for them when they go out after their studies and they are placed in any particular institute or offices, because you are supposed to do all the roles when you go out and face the situation in different offices or whichever profession you're choosing. Now I'll just tell you what each particular person will do according to their role. As I've told you, the first one is the manager. The manager will manage the group. That is, he or she will look into the time management. Will see whether all the group members are working together collectively, what the time schedule is being fixed for the activities being followed, and if any problems are arising, he will discuss with the group members, and he is the one who takes the help of the facilitator. That is the role of the manager. The next one is recorder. Now the recorder over here, a sheet will be given to the recorder, wherein first he will record all the roles assigned in the group. That is, who is the manager, who is the reflector, who is the spokesperson, and he himself being the recorder. So first he will record that information, and as the activity is being done, he will record everything what is being related to that particular activity. So whenever that report out comes, the recorder can hand over the handouts in which he has recorded, and the presenter can do his job. So the next one is the presenter or the spokesperson. This person is going to present the results of the group activity whenever asked. So the recorder will pass on the information to the presenter, and the presenter or the spokesperson is the one who is going to represent that particular group and give all the information related to the activity whenever questioned. And the last one, that is the reflector or the strategy analyst. This person looks into the group dynamics. That is, are everybody being involved into the activity? Everyone is working with the activity? Or is there any problem between the group members during the activity process? So these are the roles which are fixed to the student, and definitely I am sure when you are doing it in the class as an activity, your students will ask, I want to be the manager, because manager is the boss. So he can tell that, okay, you do the activity, I will just keep quiet. And the recorder, other persons, even the recorder also will tell the same thing. Why should I record every time? Even I want to involve myself actively. So all these things will crop in if you don't rotate the roles in the groups. And this, you need not every time, like why I'm sharing these views with you, because when we are assigning roles in the class, and since we have already done the activity in the lab, students, they also come out saying that I want to be the manager for today, I want to be the reflector today. So all these will crop in. So what we have thought is, as I have told you one suggestion, that is, you will ask whose birthday is coming next, so that there is no, and if we start fixing the roles for them, saying that, okay, you do this, there will be some amount of discussion over there also. And even if we give them chance also, they will always choose the role which they like. So you can indulge into all these different views where you can say, okay, the next person who's 1 month older, like that you can exchange the roles. Another thing what we have come across when we are doing this is, every time we are supposed to know that, you manager, you reflector, when you go to the groups. So you can avoid that problem also by having these cards, different colored cards, so that whoever student is playing with that particular role can place the card in front of him, and once the facilitator is going around, from the color he can identify who is the manager, who is the recorder, who is the reflector, and who is the spokesperson, so that you need not go every time and ask manager or reflector in a group. The facilitator will have all these are all the things which the facilitator can do to make his or her work easy when you are doing the activities. So this is what is related to the roles. Now that everybody thinks that they want to be manager, let me read out what is the role of the manager. The manager or facilitator has to make sure team starts quickly and remains focused during the activity, assign tasks for collecting and distributing materials as needed, assign roles like calculator or significant figure checker. I think we have everything. Are we ready to begin? Take care of time management, keep an eye on the clock, keep team moving forward and communicate about discussion deadlines. I think we need to focus on blah blah blah, so we can complete this section on time. We have 5 minutes before we need to discuss this. Let's get it done. Make sure all voices in the team are heard. Address team members by name and ensure that everyone contributes. Assign different members to read sections of activity on a rotating basis. You say, Dr. Manchala, what do you think about something? I would like to hear what Padmasai you think, etc., etc. So that is what is the role of a manager. Once you put that role in front of them, they'll not be so ready to jump into the manager, because the manager is not just the boss, they have a lot of work to do. Right? Similarly, we'll pass these cards around and you can look at those as to what is the different roles, and it's a clear description of the role and the responsibility.
So it's not just a name and left to interpretation what does that name mean, but there is a clear cut and a definite role responsibility for this. Is it clear? Good. So here we talked about the process orientation, so that now we are forming the groups and we have the roles and clarity in what the roles are, and there is a fixed time with which certain things need to take place, and synchronization, which means all of these roles need to be happening, and then they come to an agreement that this is what they will do, and then they will report out. We heard that word before, right? Reporting out. That means you will speak. So guess who will be the reporter? So there is a role called speaker or presenter, and only that person will be doing the report out, not anybody else in the group. So there is a clear-cut role. So for the time that the roles are defined, when you change the roles, then the new presenter may come. But there is clarity as to who will present. So there is no confusion. So it is a very structured approach with clarity as to what should be happening and by when. Now, do you want to talk about this? So the POGIL, after going through the introduction related to POGIL, then definitely we'll get a doubt like what actually the POGIL activities are. Since we have already seen the learning cycle where you have exploration, concept invention and application, so you can classify your POGIL activities which you will be designing in a class into these two categories, that is the learning cycle activities and then the application activities. So learning cycle they are the ones which are used to develop new concepts, that is try to get the concepts from the students when you are designing such type of activities. And the application activities are the ones wherein you will explore the model whatever is given to you or whatever activity is given to you, and from that you will relate its application to the real-time situations, or you can also give your ideas of relating that particular concept to a new application. Then what are the points which you are supposed to keep in mind when you are writing the POGIL activities? Two basic things. One is think like a student. Because whenever we try to design anything, we always feel that we want to give our best. So we try to put in all points into it and try to manipulate number of things and create a very beautiful structure. But that might not be feasible to every student in a class, because a class will have a mixture of students where you have average, mediocre and the best. So think like students and design the activities. And we stop. Parallelogram activity. So now we are going to form groups like a real POGIL group. So we are going to be 4 people, and so first 4 people say that you are in a group. Those that are closest to that wall become the manager in the group. So whoever is the closest to that wall becomes the manager. The next person becomes the reflector. The next person becomes the presenter. And what is the other role that's remaining? The strategy analyst. Okay? So, first of all, okay, you need to when we do this is what POGIL is. When the facilitator raises the hand, everybody else raises the hand, and there is no discussion, because now the facilitator needs your attention. That's what it means, right? Okay. So, once you form the groups, then you are clear on who is going to be taking on which role. Manager, then comes the recorder, presenter, strategy analyst or reflector. Okay. So now, hold on a second. Are we doing this individually first? Individually first? Okay, hold on a second. Before you go into the groups, we are going to do this individually first. So, you might have discussed who your groups might be, but as long as you have enough papers, just go off and do this individually first. Okay? So you read and just execute on the activity. And those of you that do not have, I will just simply read it out. So you just take a paper, a white sheet of paper and a pencil, and please do this individually. Okay?
Don't ask the scale, right? So I gave you the approximations only, just to have a rough idea. 2 inches and all that. Please don't ask the scale.
In 5 minutes she'll be there. She's interested in taking.
Okay, are you ready? Yes, ready?
One more person to form the group.
So forget about the group, first do the work individually. As long as you have pen and paper, you're ready to go. Okay? Take a blank piece of paper, then I will describe the pattern. You should draw it based on the description. So just listen and do not talk, work alone. So do not sit like this in the group. Just sit individually and you are working individually. Do not look at each other's papers. What does that mean? Something that you like to tell in your own classroom, I'm sure. Okay. All right. Now, first, draw a parallelogram with a height equals 2 inches, width 4 inches, skewed 45 degrees to the right. Work alone. Do not talk. Do not look into another person's work. Just see the exercise and do it. Okay. All right. So, those of you that don't have the paper, the instruction is on the screen. First draw a parallelogram, height equals 2 inches, width equals 4 inches, skewed 45 degrees to the right. Next, draw a Venn diagram. Symmetrical Venn diagram consisting of 3 1-inch diameter circles centered in the middle of the parallelogram. Area in the middle of the Venn diagram where all 3 circles overlap. Color it. Okay? Should we repeat or are we done? So we are supposed to draw a Venn diagram centered in the middle of the parallelogram. Symmetrical Venn diagram consisting of 3 1-inch dia circles. Area in the middle of the Venn diagram where all 3 circles overlap. Color it. So that color it is not there. I just marked it. Next, draw a star to the left of the Venn diagram consisting of 2 equilateral triangles with 1-inch edges. Draw a star to the left of the Venn diagram consisting of 2 equilateral triangles with 1-inch edges. Next, draw a hexagon to the right of the Venn diagram. Next, draw a hexagon to the right of the Venn diagram. Next, draw a sine wave above the parallelogram, and all of these instructions are there also on the screen if you don't have the sheet of paper. Draw a sine wave above the parallelogram, amplitude equals 1 inch. The top of the parallelogram defines amplitude of -1, starts at the top left of the parallelogram, ends at the top right of the parallelogram, and completes exactly 3 cycles. That last bit is there on the page when you turn it over. Okay, so this is the last bit of the work. Draw a sine wave above the parallelogram, amplitude 1 inch, top edge of the parallelogram is -1 amplitude, starts at top left, ends at top right, completes exactly 3 cycles. Now, having done that, you will rate your confidence level from 1 to 10. 1 is not confident at all about your work, 10 very confident that your drawing is correct. Write your rating on the back of your paper in large font so that I can see it here from the front. Okay? So, you have written it? What's the number? 10. Excellent. Okay, so all of you need to write it in big. All of you done writing your confidence levels? Okay, if you've done writing your confidence levels, completed activity? Okay, now work as a team. Now work as a team, and as we discussed before, the person on the end, that end becomes the manager, then the recorder, the presenter and the reflector. Once your roles are assigned, the manager is seeing that, okay, now you all need to pay attention to the roles carefully before you jump into the activity, please. So please pay attention to the roles. I already read out what the manager's roles is. Okay, your group over there. Okay. Okay. Now, please pay attention to the roles as I am reading them. Do not look at your work. Do not discuss in your groups. Just focus. Key. Right? Then you will be more productive. Alright. You all know what a manager role is? So what does a manager do? He is a facilitator. He makes sure that the time management is happening. Make sure all the voices are heard and keeps moving them along so that they get to the result by the time is done and they are ready to present. Okay, so that is the manager. Now, what does a speaker or presenter do? Right? Communicates team questions and clarifications with the teacher or other teams. This is the only team member designated to do so. That means nobody else speaks to anybody else. Only the presenter speaks. So, they have to use full sentences and report out in a proper way. Our team has reached consensus and the answer to question number, this is something, that way. Or our team is confused about whatever it is. So that is how you will have to present. Ensure that all team members have had a chance to respond before asking the outside sources. Does anyone in our team know the answer to this question? So you will make sure of that. Ensure that everyone on the team agrees to whatever the outside person is saying and presents the conclusions of the team to the class. Okay, so that's what the presenter does.
What does the recorder do? Records the names and roles of the group members at the beginning of the activity first. Then they records the important aspects of the group discussions, observations, insights, etc. The recorder's log report is a log of important concepts that the group has learned. So this is a very important and a valuable document, right? So that's the recorder. Now what is the role of the reflector? Guides consensus building. So if somebody is saying something, somebody is saying something else.